I am live. I continue reading out of Lord of the Horizon. I'm now in the third part of this book, chapter 4. This is the life of Joan Marshall Grant as Ra-Ab, a book of her far memories. She wrote 7 of them. She passed away in 1989. And this is the journey of Ra-Ab's life. We are now in chapter 4, as I said, Younger Brothers. No one who heard Mary talking to Sybil would have guessed that once she had found animals a disturbance to the household. I had presumed that Sybil would have known why Becket came to the hare, but I found that she did not. When I told Becket how grateful I was for her loyal secrecy, she said ingenuously, "It was Neri who told me not to tell his mother the real reason. He told Sybil that he had implored me to marry him, but had not said anything to her in case I refused." She was a little shocked at my over-eagerness in coming in person instead of sending an emissary, but she was pleased to think how my action honored her son. Neri told me that she wasn't very reliable about letting animals live in the house. Of course, he didn't have to ask her permission. He is the nomarch, but she could make it difficult for him for being unamiable. We decided that if she knew how Mother shared her views, it would make her feel more justified. Then, why did she take so much trouble to try to conceal from us the real reason why you were not there to greet us? Neri told her that you and Mother might be offended. We knew you wouldn't, when you knew what I was doing, but he said it would be wiser to explain privately. Were you sure before you went to him that Neri loved you? Oh yes, we both knew it since we were children. Perhaps that's why we never said it in words. We were both so sure that the other knew it too. It was obvious that one day we should marry each other, but I didn't realize I was grown up until I saw how much easier it would be for everyone if I was with him instead of being at home. I'm afraid that when I first came here I was still angry with Mother, but Neri soon made me see how tiresome I must have been to her. It wasn't her fault that when I was young I didn't value things, only animals and humans, and that I just went on in my own way without trying to make her see my point of view. As soon as Neri and I started to choose furniture and saw the linen being woven, which would be used for curtains in our own rooms, I realized that things could be important, not in themselves, but because they are the background against which one lives. It was the same about clothes. As soon as I wanted to be beautiful for Neri, I knew why Mother thought clothes important. They were part of the expression of her love for you, and were a joy in which she wanted me to share. When my leopard chewed up some matting specially made for the floor of our sleeping room, I knew just what Mother felt when my animals spoiled her things. It wasn't the things that mattered, it was what they represented. Did Sybil welcome your animals as warmly as she welcomed you? I think she was rather startled when she first saw them, but she tried not to show it. The only time she was really cross was when the leopard got into her room and knocked over her toilet chest. Most of the things in it got broken. She sent a message to say that she would not join us for the evening meal, and she told Neri to have her informed when the last of the animals had taken up residence in the house, so that she could move into their quarters and hope to find their peace in which to sleep undisturbed. It was only by making him laugh that I prevented him from having her bed moved into one of the empty ox stalls. He said it would teach her not to make requests which she didn't wish to be granted. There was rather a coldness for a day or two between her and us, but she soon got over it. It was that row which gave Neri the idea of building the new wing, where, when we felt like it, we can live with the animals without giving trouble to anyone. When I saw this new wing, I thought how typical it was of Becket and Neri that this should be the first thing they built together. It would have been customary for a nomarch to have added a new banqueting hall, or a new wing to his house to mark the occasion of his marriage. But what they had done must be unique. Between the main house and the court of the animals was a series of rooms opening on a walled garden. Here all the pet animals were free to come and go as they pleased, but no human might enter without express permission. "It will be so beautiful private for us," said Beckett contentedly. "Whenever we get tired of being formal, we have only to come here to forget that we have so many responsibilities. One of Neri's personal attendants used to be a hound boy, so he can look after us." The floors were tired, and I noticed that all the furniture was plain and solid and could be replaced as often as necessary. The bed place was a wide shelf high in the wall, presumably so as to be out of reach for all save its rightful occupants. Beckett was delighted with the house with a mouse deer, and soon they followed her wherever she went. "They may like to share a room with the monkeys," she said, "but they will have to decide that for themselves. Animals like to choose their friends, just as humans do. My leopard's favorite companion is an old hoopoe bird, which Neri has had ever since it was a fledgling with a broken wing. At night it perches on the edge of the leopard's sleeping box, and they eat out of the same dish. Then there is a horned lizard and a rat. They have decided to share the same burrow. The only serious fight was between one of my dogs and Neri's young jackal. They mauled each other quite badly before we could separate them. They still haven't decided to be friends, but both pretend not to notice when they see each other." She pointed to a large pond, not yet completed, in the middle of the garden. "Neri's going to get a baby hippo to keep there. I always wanted to have one. The heron will like paddling in the water, and so will some of the others." That evening Mary said to me how much wiser Neri is with her than I was. No one could help loving her, but I am so grateful to the gods for finding a husband who understands her so well. "Do you think he will always be so eager to do everything she wishes?" "I don't think he's just doing it to please her. They both want the same things. They are as happy as two children content in a game. They must remember that nomarchs are not children. It is unsuitable for them to be so absorbed in something which has no bearing on their work of administration." Perhaps Neri sensed this unspoken criticism, for when he was showing me his vineyard later that same evening, he said, "I had always found myself happier in the company of animals. But until Beckett and I discussed why this should be, I did not realize how much we could learn from them. We have seen how animals, which one would think are natural enemies, can come to live as friends. Beckett never tries to make an animal change its essential character, but she has taught them to find their kinship through having a mutual object of affection. A cat and a dog may obey an ancient impulse to be antagonistic, but they will no longer do so when they both love the cat. A cat and a dog may no longer do so when they both love the same master, for love is stronger than instinct. When men love Ra, even Egyptians and Asiatics can be brothers. Because Beckett loves animals, they do not fear her. Having no fear, they can love her. Loving her, they can love each other. Unless our people love Beckett and me, we can never fulfill our true role, which is to make our people love each other through the link we make between them all. Be it the love from animal to man or from man to God, the link from the younger to the wiser will unite also those of the same age. With that, I'm in complete agreement. The only thing I question is whether it is necessary for you to spend so much of your time with your younger brothers. It is necessary for us because we have still much to learn from them. You cannot learn from animals who are kept as captives. You cannot learn from animals who are kept as captives. It's not long to go. any more than you can keep your scribes imprisoned and expect to profit by their knowledge. Only a few days ago, the father of one of my young nobles came to me in great distress, saying that his son wished to marry the daughter of a foreign merchant, and asking me to threaten him with my displeasure if he continued to thwart his parents. I said that before I could give judgment, the two who wished to get married must be seen by my priest of Anubis. The priest told me that the link between them was a true link, and that it was right for them to continue their journey together. It was difficult to convince the father. Perhaps I should not have been able to restore peace to that family unless I had been able to show him the leopard and the hoopoe bird, and say to him, "Consider the animals, for they are often wiser than men. They do not allow themselves to be deceived, as we sometimes do, by difference of caste or color or tongue. Does the lion boast of his tawny majesty to the singing bird, or deny the beauty of her feathers because she cannot roar?" I finish this here and finish the chapter later because my battery's empty. Lord of the Horizon.